Okay, so I am at the Danish or the Copenhagen Museum of Medicine, which is very close to the Marienborg Palace, but which I hadn't actually planned to visit. I simply was coming by. So in this room, we're looking at liquid bodies. And let's find out what they mean by this. I'm assuming it means cells. In fact, it means they're looking at stem cells and how it's transforming our understanding of bodies and what they might become. So as you all know, those of you who do biology with me or those of you who are interested in stem cells generally, stem cells are the things that exist in an embryo. So they're undifferentiated cells. And here we're going to look at what they can become, which would be heart cells, skin cells, this is blood, these are different tests. They can become brain cells. And behind us, I don't know if you can hear it, we've got a really interesting boom, 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 looking at the heart cells as they become heart cells. And here we've got, this is a biological avatar to look at new STEM technology. We do still have stem cells in our bodies as adults. We just have them in our blood. We have them in the middle of our bones, so in our bone marrow. And here's a little bit about origins, breakthroughs, and controversies from Frankenstein, which isn't real, to bone marrow transplants, which are very much real and do treat leukemia, to a look at Dolly the sheep, who was our first known cloned animal, and then about how we use human embryonic stem cells in the lab. And if we carry on this way, this is a little look at the ethics of things. So how we can actually create pluripotent state cells and organoids. Here we go. So in this room, they look at psychiatry. And every country has its own rather sordid or horrible history looking at psychiatry. I've just come from Sweden, where they use psychiatric patients in order to test how bad sweets are for teeth. But this is looking at, I think, things to do with Victoriana. Oh, and phrenology, which is just rubbish, isn't it? But quite interesting that they decided to do it. I'm less interested in psychiatry, but I think this is a bed that somebody would have stayed in, which is almost in a cabinet. To be fair, it looks rather snug and things get quite cold here. Here's another little room that we're in called kintsugi, which is that thing where they use gold in order to repair pots that are broken. And I'm imagining this will look at artificial arms and legs, so prosthetics, and how we do hip replacements, which these are all hip joints. This is fabulous. So this is a little look. What's quite interesting about this museum is it's not so much backwards. It's mostly looking at what we're doing today. And there's some interactive bits here where you play games. And I'm now going to have a quick go. So it says, okay, let's start from here. Start. So now I've got to find, or I've got to replace my feet. So let's find out what I can get from that. It was a bit on the menopause. Is there anything on this? Here we go. Oh, healthy feet. This is quite cool. We're blessed with healthy feet. Others your age have to deal with crooked toes and ingrown toenails. As time passes, your feet will be worn down by the load they bear. So I suppose this is a don't get fat thing. Oh, bunions. This is fascinating. So basically, you have to go and look up what kind of things you get wrong with yourselves. It's quite fun, isn't it? Right, so that's that. That's the gift shop through there. And I'm going to see what else we've got in here. Okay, I'm slightly fascinated by the fact that they've got a mind and gut building. Now that means that they're thinking about the fact that we get more serotonin from our guts that we do from our head. I've always been very, very aware of my gut-mind connection. And this is all about everything from fluttering stomachs to our mind. Right, there's a video, I'm going to go and watch it. Sorry, and now this is a really beautiful thing. The gut came first. What do all animals have in common? The gut, because we've all got to process something that gives us energy. So from a few cells, we get bigger, and bigger, and bigger. And then, look, we look the same way, and the middle of us starts, and then we form into the thing that we're going to become. So this is really beautiful. And we start with a kind of the intestine, then the intestine fills out. In this case, I would say that this is stomachs, but each time the brain is growing at the same time. We are not alone. From the moment we're born, bacteria start to colonize us like little ecosystems. And we end up with lots of diversity and gut microbes. Hunger is one of the basic human experiences connecting mind and body. I am actually hungry right now. I'm going to be honest, I came into this museum because I desperately needed to pee. And so I thought I'd come in. This is one of the nicest museums of medicine or of any STEM I've ever been into. This is fascinating. So this is a look at the torso. Somebody with a fistula that then meant that you could find out what was happening in the stomach beyond. Although I think the stomach was always a bit of a problem because of the fact that it's contained so much acid. And as soon as you open it, sort of like the way that the Japanese used to open themselves and then get really quite unwell. There we go. And we've got some things that look at that is seriously lovely. This is looking at PET scanner, which we normally only see we're in the middle of, well, cancer treatment. And in here we have, here we go. This is looking at the guts of different animals. Well, this is lovely. And how we see what's going on with mice and how we learn about the conversation between our gut and brain. I literally, if I hear bad news, get a complete sense of nausea immediately. And here's our bacterial world. These Winogradsky columns contain living microbial ecosystems. They're pretty special, aren't they? Anyway, overall, this is a really fabulous little place, and this tells us all about our cultivation of bacteria. Now, so my conclusion from this is that you should probably eat a good range of food, eat when you're hungry, and I am probably going to go and do that now. Okay, carrying on, I just was going to go and eat, but I just found this. And this is a little game where you have to take a card, and it basically has to be about what you're feeling at the moment. And I'm not feeling hungry. Okay, here we go. I am feeling hungry. So I have to answer the question honestly. Let's have a go, shall we? How does what you eat affect your mood, and how does your mood affect what you eat? So I think the answer to that is if I don't eat vegetables and good and fruit, I feel sluggish. And if I feel sluggish, I eat badly. So I would say it is an unvirtuous circle as to how I cope with this. And I must go and eat some smørrebrød. There you go. So this is a look at how people dealt with corona. And It's kind of interesting. Second floor. And through here, we've got the dispensary. I love these. This is an old-fashioned apothecary. A little bit like the ones you get in the Damien Hirst exhibition. And, oh, this is pretty special. As you can see, there's more people here than there were in Rome, but not that much more. I'm just going to do a little bit more. This is how our lungs look, which is fabulous, isn't it? Those are our alveoli. And then this is how we preserve different bits. There's some bodies in this part of the museum that's from the University of Copenhagen, and I really shouldn't do anything else. So I'm just going to show you we've got the tendons and also the arteries in the neck and the head. It's really cool. Okay, they have the four humours, and they have the best collection of the four humours that I've seen in a while. So, and it also looks at it from the perspective of slightly the got black bile, and they associate that with earth, adulthood, autumn. Then we have phlegm, which we consider phlegmatic, water, old age. And then we have the rather wonderful blood, which we associate with air. And I'm assuming spring. Yeah, well done. And then finally, we have the yellow bile, which we associate with heat and summer, which is really cool. So this room is very much history, but it's like the nicest put way that I've seen it done.